Thanks, John. Now, it is the Tower of Power, the most exclusive address in the city that hedge funders, actors, athletes, and tech tycoons all like to call home.
We do not. Author Michael Gross is here, and he is taking us behind the lavish limestone walls of 15 Central Park West in his new book, House of Outrageous Fortune, which is a fascinating read. I appreciated the history up to the building, but what makes this building so special?
Well, it represents a paradigm shift in New York, in the world. It's a different kind of wealth, a different size of wealth. A whole new ruling class has emerged, and this building is the perfect representation of it.
Well, you talk about the story about how this building came to be and how it changed the entire neighborhood and people's thoughts on the neighborhood and also our ideas of wealth. So tell me a little bit more about the families that were involved in constructing the actual building.
Well, there are three backers. Family number one is Goldman Sachs. I don't know if you'd call them a family.
Well, yes.
Well, they're a family.
The mega squid bank. Family number two is the Ophers, who are the richest family in Israel. One of the two sons of the richest man in Israel is the financial backer, and he's also the guy who lives in that very top penthouse.
Is that the $90 million one?
No, his is nicer. His hasn't sold yet.
You're kidding me.
So we don't know what his is worth.
Oh my gosh.
And then there are the guys who actually built the building, who are Will and Arthur Zeckendorf.
Okay.
And they're the third generation of a New York development family. You ever hear the expression location, location,
Yes,
location?
yes,
Sure. yes.
Their grandfather, Big Bill Zeckendorf, coined that. He also assembled the land the UN is sitting on. So now you've got the third generation, and they've built the single most important residential building in America of the century.
Wow.
He came up with location, location, location?
He did.
That is a genius. How does this change, though, the definition of wealth? I mean, you talk about a $90 million penthouse. You talk about some of the add-ons. How shocking were some of the numbers to you?
Well, let me give you my favorite number, okay? Alternate investment managers, about 35 of them live in this building. And I had somebody crunch the numbers. $437 billion. That's $500 billion, bigger than most countries, is managed by the firms that are represented by the owners in this building.
That is unreal. Okay, but let's talk about the help. You know, everybody that's involved in this building seems to get a little bit of a kickback here. So apparently, what does the super make? Let's just go with that.
Well, according to the staff, the super takes home $600,000 a year before tips. Now, I think that's in part because he gets a free apartment at 15 Central Park West.
Oh, so then they're adding that into the, because that seems like an inflated number. I put in my application yesterday.
But you know, when you're dealing with egos like Lloyd Blankfein, Dan Loeb, Sandy Weil, Denzel Washington, Sting, Jeff Gordon, it goes on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the phone rings and it's one of those guys. Aren't you quaking in your boots?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Which are probably worth like $1,000 a piece.
Yes,
your boots.
It's worth like $1,000 a second on the phone.
What about the rest of the help? What are some other examples?
Well, I mean, the building is so well staffed. There are handymen, there are porters, there are concierges, there are guys who just handle packages. And some of them actually talked to me. They violated their oath of secrecy.
Really? So they have to sign a confidentiality agreement?
They were, when I started writing the book, a memo went around reminding them that they were dead meat if they talked to me.
Really?
And one day I got an email saying, I work at 15 Central Park West. Would you like to talk to me? Wow. And oh my God, my heart, still my heart.
Yes.
It was great.
Oh my God. Wait, can I ask you too about the amenities? A place like this has to have every amenity known to man. So can you give us some of the cooler things that the residents get?
Do you want to start in the basement?
Let's go to the basement.
75-foot lap pool with a skylight so you're swimming in natural light. Health club, massage rooms, personal trainers on site. Go up a floor. Library, private restaurant. The private restaurant also does room service for all the residents. There's a motor courtyard so that you can pull, so that you don't have to get out of your car.
Of course not. Why would you want to?
Some guy shoots an upskirt or something. You're completely safe.
Yes,
there.
oh good, because I was worried about that.
And there's a billiard room, there's a screening room, there are conference rooms, there's a computer room.
It goes on and on and on.
What about some of the celebrities? Can you dish on, say, A-Rod?
Can I dish on A-Rod?
Well, did they dish on A-Rod?
Well, look, first of all, there are a couple resident celebrities who actually own apartments, and then there are others who were mere renters. So Denzel Washington owns, Sting owns. Denzel is kind of, low rent for 15. His apartment only cost $13 million.
That's it?
Sting, on the other hand, probably about twice that. He lives in a duplex. His next-door neighbor is Lloyd Blankfein, chairman of Goldman Sachs. Can you imagine the barbecues on the terrace?
Oh, my gosh.
So A-Rod, Kelsey Grammer, and Mark Wahlberg were all renters. A-Rod was the single most disliked person in the building.
Why? Why do you think?
Well, I don't know. Can I use this word on the air? They called him a douche.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The staffers
The
did?
staffers called him
Well, maybe
that.
because of the way that he treated them?
Because of the way that he treated them, because he was arrogant, he was nasty, and then there were the ladies of the night.
Wow. And, you know, no secret is safe at 15 Central Park West because Kelsey Grammer apparently got busted, right?
Kelsey Grammer got busted by his wife when she called from the West Coast. And someone on the staff said, "Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry, his wife is already upstairs."
Oh,
Oh, boy.
okay.
Well, I just real quickly before you go, the mayor talks about a divided city. Doesn't this just really accentuate the extreme on that end of the spectrum?
And what's really interesting is that even during the Great Recession, when real estate all over the country was losing value, the apartments at 15 Central Park West were tripling in value.
It's an amazing read
Fascinating
and
book.
thoughtful, too. I really like the history, too. Michael Gross, thanks so much for dishing with us on the couch. House of Outrageous Fortune is on sale now, and you can afford it.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
you
can.
can
It
afford it.
really just
Yeah.
fascinating book.